fucking goddamn next movie.
SKINAMARINK, go fuck yourself.
You know what? I would still say maybe watch it, and that is for just to say you watched it. I suppose I can't really.
Or don't and claim the idea that you actually have intelligence.
Well, there's. I'll get into why I think you should watch it, and it's a kind of a. It's literally the only reason I can think of, and I'm not honestly. I'm not even sure if I'm right about this reason, to be honest. But yeah, we're talking about.
It's a Johnny theory.
It's not a film theory. It's a Johnny theory, or more scientifically based theory than. Yes, we're talking about SKINAMARINK. So, the story to this is. But
I really want to hear this.
We got some kids in the house. There is no. There's definitely some kids in the house. That's it.
2 kids, 2 parents.
Yep. I'll tell you what we're going to do before I try and put a story to this. I'm just going to go with the facts that we know. I'm going to go with the facts that we know, and then I'm going to try and string that together into a tangible story. We've got some kids in the house. We've got some parents in the house for a little while. We've got an evil cartoon show that seems to be speaking to the kids, and may also be a gateway to another dimension. I'm not too sure there. We've got walls, lots of walls, presumably within the house the kids are in. I think they're very up close shots, so they could be any wall, to be honest. But I feel for storyline purposes, it's probably the walls of the house. There's the voices of the kids talking to each other, and other voices occasionally, where you can hear them discussing being scared a lot and hearing things and being scared by things. But we never see, or well, we do hear, I suppose, but we never see any of this. So I can't postulate exactly. And there's a running theory out there that maybe the kid is in a coma, which I suppose at some stage in the movie he does fall down the stairs. So that theory makes as much sense as literally any other theory that you can come up with about this movie, because there's no guiding line as to what's actually going on. So it's a bit of a smorgasbord. It could be literally whatever you think. I personally think that they're in some sort of alternate dimension brought on by the cartoon, or the cartoon is trying to drag them into this alternate dimension that it controls. Because
I would lean into that one.
The cartoon comes on, weird shit happens. It's the only thing I can fucking.
Kids like all cartoons, they're allowed near a camera. All they can film is the floor and the ground. This isn't actually a movie.
Yeah.
Well, no, technically it is a movie. You see, that's the thing, unfortunately. Not unlike what I said about that other.
Legally.
Yes, I was just going to say, legally, this is very much a movie.
Realistically speaking, this is 2 kids who got their hands on their fucking parents' video camera while watching cartoons from the 20s, and all they can do is the floor or the ceiling because their kid's trying to hold the camera. That's why the kid fell on the fucking stairs.
The kids never were holding the camera, though.
It's always supposed to be the kid. Like, it's clearly the kid holding the camera. That's why we're seeing obtuse angles, because no real person would hold the camera. They'd actually film stuff. All we're seeing is stuff that it's a kid holding a camera that's too unwieldy for them to hold. That's the entire film. That's the entire thing. That's it.
There's only two kids.
Yeah, one of them's holding it.
They're on camera the whole time, though.
Right. Do you mean when the camera's on the ground and we can see their feet?
The camera's always on the ground.
Because they put the camera on the ground.
The camera's always on the ground.
Except for the times the kid's clearly holding the camera wrong, because either looking up at the ceiling or looking down at the ground. This isn't a film. This is 2 kids that got their hands on their parents' camera at night, put it on, and someone went.
Well, I need to get these kids' numbers, because I need to know where they got 12 grand for a budget.
12 what?
Yeah.
You didn't hear that part?
Sorry, no, I did, but I'm doing that for dramatic purposes to make it sound like
okay, good job
for the thing.
No,
thank you.
I said there's definitely like weird shit goes on because like that's when stuff starts moving, disappearing. But like
Stuff
nothing
moves
really
because
tracks
kids have hit stuff off the fucking ground. Stuff disappears because kids have hit the on-off switch on the camera.
Okay, Carter, what's your thoughts on it?
No, it was just like they're trying really hard to make it seem like, you know, like there's an entity or like he said, this is something trying to drag through, but like it never really.
The cartoon directly talks to them at times.
Right. Like it's definitely something trying to get in or hold it. Like there's definitely an interaction between it, but you never really get
But
like
as I said, there's no,
you know, like last movie.
there's no substance, backbone, or storyline basis to make any assumptions. So
Right.
I won't lie to you, it could be fucking aliens. I don't have a fucking clue.
That's what I'm saying.
I like
The
that.
only thing that we can glean from this, legitimately, the only thing that there is, the only evidence there is in this entire film, it's something. The only thing there is the fact that kids have a video camera. That's all I know about this film.
And that the cartoon
Kids have a
then
video
talks to
camera.
them. That's
on
like
in-house.
in the movie.
Right.
That's
Right.
just coincidental.
What?
I
How the fuck is that with the dental?
Because if you
when,
time the
like-
cartoon up right, it's going to sound like it's talking to you.
Oh,
I can
Jesus
time
Christ.
cartoons up to make it sound like I'm having a
But
conversation.
it wasn't just the cartoons talking to him. I mean, like the little telephone thing was fucking talking to him and shit.
There was something telling him to go upstairs.
The
Right,
parents
these are
telling them to go to
different-
fucking bed and turn off the goddamn TV.
I didn't see that part.
I didn't see
because it
anything,
wasn't
to be
there.
perfectly honest. It's as extravagant
I
as
got-
anything else in this fucking
I got two things. To say about this movie. Number one, I'd like to publicly apologize. I am the one that suggested this film. I believe the hype. I didn't believe it. I just saw stuff. So I would like to punish myself by having my movie picking abilities revoked for 30 days as a
No,
punishment.
you're getting
No,
castrated.
'cause I mean, like, you think about it though, dude. We watched the trailer. The trailer made it look interesting and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it seemed like there was going to be some shit.
Look, Gags, well,
Hey, what's up,
we're
Gags?
talking about a movie,
Thank you.
a movie that's legally a movie.
You know, the trailer made it look interesting. I mean, that's why we were all like, "Hey, let's get on this." But once you
I
get,
got,
there's just nothing
When
there.
it turns out
I
there's
mean,
as much story
I-
in the trailer as the whole hour and a half movie, it's a bit annoying.
Hour and 40 minutes.
I
I,
got one
felt
more.
every fucking second of it ticking my life away.
I got one more thing to say about this movie, and that is to the people who made the movie.
Please be tactful.
People who made
Run.
SKINAMARINK.
Not tactful, sorry, just we're on YouTube.
Something! God damn, nothing happens.
No, something definitely happens. Kids talk to a TV.
Yeah, like-
People walk in front of the fucking camera.
I mean,
Yeah, that happens in my living room every day.
Okay.
It's not
I'm not disputing
anything that
I'm
I
just
want to
saying,
watch.
You know, there's
See, Buzz
I mean,
gets it. Buzz
but we
understands
also-
where I'm coming from.
walls that wall.
we
walls
have parents disappearing.
There's what?
Like the dad just straight disappeared right next to the
Yeah, that's
kid.
true.
You know, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like, there's these moments that are supposed to be like, hey, something's definitely going on, but like, you know, you don't have your sacred like breaking a seal to know like you woke up a demon. Like, it just starts weird, like with shit. It keeps going weird with some
Yeah,
possible
like that's
shit.
the other problem is
Like,
it's like
for-
the shit's. Do you know the way like in a normal story there's kind of like some prelude to the events happening? You know, it's kind of like, you know, we were living in the house,
Right.
some weird shit starts to happen, and then the weird shit escalates. There's just weird shit happening from the offset. There's no kind of like guidance or explanation as
reason.
to what the fuck is going on. It's just weird shit. You know?
Which is why,
Which
the whole
which I won't lie to you
him
is also the reason I
potentially-
think I get this coma theory, but I'm kind of like, I won't lie to you. He fell down the stairs a bit into the movie, not like crazy into the movie, but he fell down the stairs a bit into the movie. There was already weird shit happening.
It's fairly at the beginning.
It's not like
It's one of the first things mentioned.
And even there's conversation though,
Just-
dad going, he's okay.
Well, yeah, he says he's okay, but I mean, you don't know. Like, I don't know. That's kind of
remember,
what
this
we
could be
lead
like an
into
80s
into
dad
the
where he
movie.
just picks him up and goes, you're okay, Slugger. How many fingers am I holding up? Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll catch you later, buddy.
True.
He just said it didn't need stitches, which I mean, that, I mean, he might not need stitches, but it still doesn't
Right.
mean that there wasn't,
He's not. I don't know. Like,
damage done to the temporal lobe.
I get the idea of it, but it's one of those again, though. That is such a loose idea that you have.
It's thing is there's a lot of ideas with nothing to back any of them up, to where that's why the whole coma theory could be a thing, because it's one of the first things we hear is the dad on the phone, because that's obviously right at the beginning, because the whole movie is dad's gone, so it's right at the beginning. Dad's on the phone. He fell down the stairs. He's okay. Doesn't need stitches. And then that's the last we hear of Dad. The rest of the movie. That's like right at the beginning.
No,
so it's like you could get some.
later.
Well, somewhat. But that's another thing. Is like other things that I watch is like people are like, well, this could be a metaphor for kids and like in traumatic homes where the parents are divorced. And that's why mom was on one side of the bed, dad was on the other side of the bed. It's like, okay, it's just there's
the whole point of subtext.
Things you can grasp.
Subtext, Mr. Movie Maker, is that it's subtext, as in like it's something that's visually being told underneath the actual story that's being told. When you have no story being told for there being to be subtext too, it's just shit happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like anybody could base anything they want out of any of that. I could sit here and say that this
it might be that they were sitting on opposite ends of the bed because they were divorced. It may also be that they were sitting on opposite ends of the bed because for the laugh they decided to put two high-powered magnets down the front of their tops that were of opposite polarity. You know what I mean?
Boom, we figured it out.
No, but that's the problem. There's no substance to anything that's happening in it. It's just shit happening. Do you know what I mean? The only correlation of anything I managed to put together was that the fucking cartoon boy is fucking talking to the kids.
Right.
Or has some dimension thing going on. Because all I know is that cartoon starts talking to kids, weird shit happens. That was the only...
Yeah, and then they show that one scene with like the house where like they're backing out. The house is upside down, but it's like attached to some like what? Like what is going on? Movie, tell me, please.
It was like someone made an entire movie of the video from The Ring, and then just
And they tried so hard to build like an eerie atmosphere.
Don't get me wrong, it's eerie, like because it's all shot arseways and fucking dark as fuck.
Right, but I mean, like at first it was, but then like as this progresses and nothing's going on, it's no longer eerie. It was just kind of like,
I'll tell you the one thing that
we don't have money for a light bill. Like it was just weird.
I'll tell you the one thing that I think they did that I think is smart or genius or whatever way you want to look at it, and that's if I'm right, and I don't know if I am, but you know the way people were saying that they were so shocked and everything by the movie that people were getting sick. There's these weird audio hums that are playing through the tape the whole time, and the odd angles and the way the footage moves sometimes. I'm actually wondering, are they like
with Blair Witch when it was actually just a case of motion sickness?
Yeah, well, no, this is, I think, intentional.
Sensory.
Yeah, I think this is intentionally done because it's with the audio as well. You know, those like bilateral beats. I think like that.
Yeah,
they're like resonant hums a lot of the time.
There should be more. I looked into doing something.
Not if you embed it low. You can do it on the low.
No, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, if you embed it on the low end, you can make it sound like the kind of the videotape frequency that's running through the entire fucking movie.
But the frequencies that you need are actually so low that most people wouldn't be able to hear them.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're feeding them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Like this.
Yeah, that's the part where I feel like people get sick. Like, yeah, I could get that part of it, but it's nothing to do with the movie because like it's the scariest movie ever, and people are throwing up because of what they seen. No, because you don't see anything. It's definitely that whole what you were just saying, more of the emotion, but like the sensory thing.
That those audio frequencies make people just feel so uneasy as well that they're like, oh, I'm scared the whole time, but it's not.
And it did play in theaters briefly too, so I think a lot of people were saying that could also seeing it in the theater aspect. I don't know
Like
if that
when I was
like,
watching it, I got chills once or twice because I was listening to it like full blast through my headphones. But it wasn't like there was nothing scary going on.
it's just like there's stuff there. It's just nothing. They don't do anything with it, and it's like, and that whole thing. It's like it goes to the same. Like anything that happens, it's almost like a revolving door thing where like you could sit here and say, okay, well, if this was supposed to be why you did this, then why couldn't you have at least followed through with it? But the whole audio thing. Sometimes you're able to hear people talking. Other times it's so faint that you can't hear it that they have to put subtitles on to read what they're saying. And it's like, okay, I get there's probably a reason behind why that's happening, but what the fuck is it?
Most of the time,
That's the part that's just that there's stuff there. It's just not followed
a
through.
lot of the time the subtitles
And
are stuff
nothing-
you can actually hear, and they're not subtitling the stuff that you can't hear. It's like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah,
Right,
a lot of it does. Yeah, and that's where like a lot of people are saying with the whole possible coma thing is you can't hear certainly because he's in a coma or whatever. So it's like you hear voices but you can't make it out. So that's why when you're hearing things that's why that stuff is put up as subtitles because you hear somebody talking. But it's not like it's done so low. Like it's not like like nothing's being made out where it's like you can hear them talking, you just can't hear what the fuck they're saying.
As I said when I was describing the movie earlier,
man.
it's so loosely roped storyline wise that you could literally there's a couple of nuggets of stuff in there that you could postulate 50 different theories from because there's so little substance there that it could be literally anything.
And I mean, that may be why everybody's getting on it, because it's like it definitely is a talking piece of like, I don't get it, or I saw this, and like it definitely has a talking point to it while you're trying to speculate what all this
The only
stuff
talking
is.
point I've
But
had
just
is
to
like,
sit
don't
down,
watch this movie.
like just to sit down and like say enjoy a movie and be like, oh man, this scared me or it made me laugh. Like this movie really didn't do any of that. Like it just
No.
throws stuff in front of you.
And like I was saying, like I kind of after a while I was going on YouTube to see, a lot of people do their ending explained or movie explained or review stuff, and it's like everybody I watched had a different interpretation of it. We had the guy with the film theory with the whole coma thing. We had somebody else talking about childhood nightmares and the divorce thing. It's like all these different things people took out from it, and it's like maybe that was the point. Maybe they just threw this together and it's like you come up with your own.
The guy who came up with the childhood nightmares and divorce theory, I think he needs to talk to someone.
Yeah.
I think this movie just made you
say,
take
like,
a deep look at yourself, but that's what I think is. Maybe that's what the point of the movie is, that it makes us all take a weird, long, deep look at ourselves.
Why am I watching
Yeah,
this?
if that's the case, that would explain why I'm not impressed, because all I saw was darkness, and I was like, yep, that makes sense.
Right. Right. Yeah, like, and there was a few times where I was like, I thought it was over, and it like just kept going. I'm like, okay, so we're wrapping up to. Nope, we're still okay. I'm like,
Yeah, and then when it did end, you're just like, oh, that's what it ends on? You're just like, there's so many other parts that it could have ended on.
Oh, good. It had no start, middle, and end. So,
Yeah. And like I was saying to the guy, I don't know if you had stepped out yet or at the time, Johnny, but like, this definitely would have worked as like a short.
Oh, dude, I think they could have.
In a way. I mean, it still would have been. There still would have been the flaws, but over an hour and a half. Whew.
Hour, 40 minutes.
Whew.
I want him back.
It was really
the
stretching.
I want him
speculative
back.
movie that has no goal, clear threat is annoying to say the least. You're goddamn right, Kegs. Especially when it's an hour and 40 fucking minutes.
It almost ended the show today because Johnny was like, you know what?
I was writing it back. I was writing a
show.
short story that I was like quite enjoying, and that movie really pissed me off, and I nearly just felt like going, you know what, man? I just want to stay in my good mood. And then I watched Cocaine Bear and I was cheered up, so I was like, all right, fuck it. We'll do a show.
can't pass
No
that
Skinamarink going to keep a good Johnny down, I'll tell you that straight out.
Yes,
It was going to keep a
Skinamarink
good
too.
Johnny down, which was damn close, I won't lie to you.
Yeah. If these were watched in different orders, we probably wouldn't be on tonight. Because if this was the movie Johnny ended on, then...
I mean, it's sad because I can't even say, like, cast did a good job because, like, mom and daddy really didn't do much. Kids just walked. Like, it's so weird.
It's a lot of feet, Legos, and walls and voices.
It's an audio drama.
Must be what Randy Orton's house is.
It's not an audio drama. Audio dramas are fucking entertaining. Audio dramas actually tell a story.
Okay.
Yeah, so SKINAMARINK. Okay, I think that silence is a good place for us to cut to the trailer where you can be as